and fluorine. We want to keep track of how many atoms of these elements we have on both sides of the equation, so we're going to make a little chart, okay? I got xenon and fluorine on this side, and then xenon and fluorine on this side. Over here, I have one xenon atom, one, and then I have F2, so I got 2 fluorines. Over here, also one xenon, and then F6, so I got 6 fluorines. Now take a look at these numbers. This equation isn't balanced yet because we have different numbers of the atoms for one of the elements. I've got 2 fluorine here, but I've got 6 fluorine here, so it's not balanced. In order to balance it, I've got to add numbers or coefficients in front of one or more of these elements and compounds to change the number of atoms that I have on the different sides of the equation. Okay? Here's how I'm going to do it. I got 6 fluorine here, but I got 2 fluorine here. So for this to balance, I need more fluorines on the left side. I can add a number in front of the F2 here. If I put 3 in front of this F2, here we'll put it in. If I put 3 in front of this F2, now I have 3 times 2 gives me 6 fluorine, and now they balance. 1, 1 for the xenons, 6 and 6 for the fluorine. So now this is a balanced equation by adding this number, by adding this coefficient. Now really quick, this is one very common question. People often ask, wait, why did you put that 3 there? Couldn't you just change this 2 to a 6 and then it would also balance? No, 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 no. You can't do that. Super common misconception. You can't change these subscripts here. You can't change them, you can't add them. So you can't change this to a 6, you can't put a 6 here or anything like that. The only thing you can do is you can put numbers in front of the elements or compounds, okay? But you can't change or add the subscripts. Okay, so that's how you balance an equation. Let's do a whole bunch more practice. Okay, so in this equation we've got 3 elements: silver, Ag, hydrogen, H, and sulfur, S. Obviously we've got these on both sides of the equation. Okay, so let's see how many atoms we have of each. Over here we got 1 Ag, we got H2, so we got 2 hydrogen atoms, and then we have S, so we got 1 sulfur atom. Over here we have Ag2, so we have 2 silvers here. Sulfur, we have 1, and then we have H2, so we have 2 hydrogens. Okay, what balances and what doesn't? Well, the hydrogens and sulfur both balance, but the silver, we have 2 here and 1 here. We can fix it by adding a number or coefficient in front of one or more of these elements and compounds. I need more silvers on this side, and luckily, I can just put a 2 in front of this Ag. So now instead of having 1 Ag, now I have 2, and now I got 2, 2, and 1. It balances. This equation is a little bit more challenging because we have oxygen in all the compounds here. That means we're just going to have to be a little bit more careful when we're adding up the number of oxygen atoms that we have. Okay? So the elements in this equation. We got K, potassium, O, oxygen, H, hydrogen, and C, carbon. And over on this side, we've got potassium, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. Okay, how many of each of these do we have? Okay, we got 1 potassium here. Now for oxygen, this is where you just got to be a little bit more careful, okay, because we have 1 oxygen here, but then we have 2 oxygens here. So 1 plus 2, total we have 3. Then hydrogen, we got 1 of those, and carbon, we got 1 of those. Over here for potassium, we have 2 of these because we got K2. Then oxygen, we have 3 there, and we have 1 there. It's going to give us 4 total. Then we have H2, we have 2 hydrogens, and 1 carbon. Okay, so what balances, what doesn't? The carbons balance, but other than that, we've got to add some coefficients to change this stuff around. Okay? Oxygen doesn't balance. But since oxygen is in every one of the compounds, I'm going to leave that for later. I'm going to start with potassium because it's easier, right? I have 2 potassiums here, but I've only got 1 here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 2 in front of this KOH, and let's see what that does. Okay, the first thing that's going to do is it's going to give me 2 instead of 1 potassiums, because I have the 2 times K. Now for oxygens, let's look at how it's going to change that. Now I'm going to have 2 oxygens, because 2 times that, plus the 2 that I have over there in CO2. So I'm going to have 2 plus 2 is now going to give me 4. So I've got 4 oxygens. And in terms of hydrogen, now I'm going to have 2 times 1 hydrogen. So I'm going to get 2 hydrogens. And check it out. Putting this 2 here changed everything. So now I've got 2, 4, 2, 1. It all balances. Now we're going to